Hello students, welcome back to yet another session of life processes. Now we are going to discuss about nutrition in human being. The most important area. The most interesting thing about human being are about their nutrition is we are omnivores, means we can eat the plant and as well as animal based food. Both the type of food we will take, and our food habit is diverse. Variety of type of vegetables, fruits, and carbohydrate sources, fat, protein sources we are intaking. As we are having more complex type of food, we should have more complicated digestive system also. Our digestive system consists of numerous organs. As you are seeing over here, the mouth is not shown here, esophagus, stomach, and small intestine, duodenum, ileum as shown in the small intestine, then the large intestine, and the glands like liver and as well as pancreas. We go detail in human digestive system. It basically consists of two parts. One is alimentary canal, the whole canal right from mouth to anus. The next one is glands associated with that, working with that. These two together form our digestive system. As because I already told you, we have diverse type of food. We are in omnivorous food nature. That is the reason. So we have basic stages of our digestion or nutrition. That is same as we discussed in the case of amoeba. Ingestion, that is intaking, digestion, breaking down into smaller pieces, absorbing into the body, and egestion. But one thing we missed discuss in the case of amoeba, that is assimilation. So what happened? What about assimilation of food in human being? It takes place a whole body. That means the food is digested in our mouth and stomach and a part of intestine, and the remaining part of intestine it is getting absorbed completely. Large intestine also take part in absorption and digestion. That is the role of rectum and anus. And when it goes, the blood will absorb the nutrients from the small intestine. It goes to every part of the body, and where it is assimilated, make a part of the body. Already we had discussed in the first session. So when you see about the alimentary canal, another very beautiful image you can see here. All the parts we can see very clearly here. The oral cavity or mouth or buccal cavity is there. Then esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and other glands. So it start with end and end with anus. So this is what the organs you can list out: mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. So these are the parts of the alimentary canal. Okay, already we had listed it out. Now let us start with the mouth. What is the role of mouth in our nutrition? Of course, this is the area of ingestion. We are intaking the food. The food is taken into the alimentary canal through mouth, where it is broken down into smaller particle by two means. First one, by the teeth mechanically it will break down. Second one, it will be enzymatically break down, chemically break down with a salivary gland secretion. We call it as saliva. So they will break down enzymatically, while our teeth will break down mechanically. Of course, the structure of teeth is not in our syllabus, but let us go in brief. Human adult have basically four types of teeth, that are incisors, canine, premolar and molar. What are the role of incisors? It just used to cut the food items, light food items. They just like a fruit, an apple is given, we will cut by using incisors. A laddu is given, we will cut by incisors. Jalebi, incisors. But if it is little tougher, it's not possible. Next one is canine. Suppose a sugar cane stem is given. We have to tear it off the outer thick part of the stem. Is it possible with incisors? No, we need canine only. So we'll take in the side and tear it off the outer peel. Even it is a flesh meat also, a bigger chicken leg something, we will use a canine. Premolars, crushing. So incisors cutting, canine tearing, premolar crushing. Crushing, a nut is given, badam is given. We will use our premolars to first crush it. Then molars will grind it. So all the food items ultimately leads to molars, where it will grind along with the saliva. It is not wet grinder, or it is a wet grinder, grind along with the saliva. So this is what the role of our teeth. Now we'll see about the saliva, what it does. It is containing a mucus secretion, a plus enzyme called salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is a type of enzyme which can work upon the starch items. Okay, so you can see here we have three pair of salivary glands. One is in front of our ear, one is submandibular, below our mandible. What is mandible? The mandible is our lower jaw. Okay, one is below the lower jaw, the another one is where it is sublingual. Sublingual, lingual means here it is tongue. So below the tongue, one is below tongue, another is below our jaw, another is just in front of our ears. Three pairs of salivary gland. They will produce saliva, basically containing an enzyme and mucus. That enzyme will break starch into maltose. So digestion, mechanical digestion by teeth, enzymatic also, breaking down also will start in our mouth itself. See, when you have taking rice, before you are going to take lunch or dinner with rice, don't pour the sambar, take some rice, put in our mouth and chew and chew. We will get a slight sweet taste. That is nothing but the maltose. So the salivary amylase present in the saliva digests the starch into maltose. That is what happened. So we can see here the food is now completely mixed with the saliva and broken down by the teeth. Now we can see one more organ is here, very important organ in our mouth or buccal cavity. What is that? That is tongue. What is the role of tongue? Excuse me. Okay, tongue will feel the taste. Okay, only it has a function to feel the taste. No. What else it will do? Okay, we can speak. But speaking is not a part of our digestion process. So what is the other role of tongue? You see, when you chew, we need tongue to move the food. We chewing the food will move to one side to another side and up, back, forth movement with the help of tongue only. The food is chewed properly, mixed with saliva. How to swallow it? How to swallow? We need the help of tongue. You do a small activity. Take a water bottle. Take little water. Okay. Take it in your mouth. See, unless until you move your tongue, you cannot swallow the food. So tongue will help us to move the food, swallow the food, move the food, mix with the saliva and as well as taste. So this is about tongue. Now it goes, the food is moving from the mouth to the esophagus. The esophagus, what is esophagus? Okay, it is a muscular tube that connects our mouth into the stomach. We can tell like that. It is a muscular tube. Connect mouth to the stomach. So, but it is not a simple tube. You see, one part it is wider here, but here it is see narrow, and that part is shown here. How much narrow it is, you see, a small opening, a sphincter. Okay, so that is a peculiarity of esophagus. The food will go not only through esophagus, through the whole alimentary canal with a particular wave-like movement. Do you recall that? The wave-like movement of muscles help the food to pass through the alimentary canal. What that movement is called as? Yes, that is called as peristalsis. Okay, so peristalsis is a movement, wave-like movement. Here you can see another image. See, the constriction is there, the constrained area and the relaxed area. So when it is as the constriction is moving, the bolus, the food, partially digested food from the mouth is called as bolus. The bolus also moves and reaches into the stomach. Okay, so that is about the esophagus and their role. Now when it reaches into the stomach, okay, stomach is a very big bag, isn't it? It's a big bag. So about stomach also we should tell clearly what is stomach. It is a muscular bag. Stomach is a muscular bag. Two things it does. Temporarily store the food and partially digest it. Partially digest it. For that purpose, stomach has three main secretions that are one enzyme, pepsin, hydrochloric acid, an acid, very strong acid, and mucus. So let us see what is the role of these three components. First we will see HCl, hydrochloric acid. The pH is 1.5 to 2.5. How strong it is? How strong it is, the HCl? See, the pH is normal. It starts with 7 and when coming towards 1, the pH, the concentration is increasing. The strongest acid, the sulfuric acid and as well as our hydrochloric acid, they are the strongest acids. So they are coming to 1.5, 2 like that. So the HCl in our stomach is 1.5 to 2.5, very strong. Why this much strong? Let us find the answer. So it has a number of functions, hydrochloric acid in our stomach. The first one is activation of pepsin. So what is pepsin? We told it is also a secretion. It is only an enzyme. Pepsin, it break down protein. Digest protein. See, the digestion of protein starts in our stomach. Who will do? Pepsin. But in order to digest the protein, pepsin has to be activated. That means the pepsin is produced in our stomach in inactive form as pepsinogen. Produced as pepsinogen in active form. Later on, this hydrochloric acid activate it into pepsin. You see here, pepsinogen activated into pepsin. Once it is pepsin, it can break the protein into smaller fragments, proteoses, peptones. Okay, so that is the role of pepsin. Got it? And the stomach continue. The another one is the mucus layer. So do you think that a very strong acid 1.5 to 2.5 pH strong acid HCl, it can also spoil or destroy the wall of our stomach also. Okay, it can digest it, but why not? Because we have another secretion, the third secretion, that is called as mucus. How do mucus protect? Let's see. See, the mucus is having special type of structures that is called as bicarbonates. It acts as a buffer. Buffer, you know, it will not change the pH. Neutralize. So you see, when the HCl of 2 comes in contact with the mucous membrane, mucous layer, the pH convert into 7, and this pH 7 will not cause any problem to the stomach lining. Got it? How the mucus is controlling, how the mucus is protecting. Okay, but still the mucus production is less, means the acid can cause damages to stomach membrane, that is called as stomach ulcers. So our body has a mechanism, in 3 or 4 days rotation, the body can change the mucus layer or inner layer of stomach. New cells will come, replacing the damaged worn out cells. Okay. So once the food is completely functioned or digestion is, the stomach part is over, then it goes to the small intestine through the pyloric sphincter. So where is pyloric sphincter? So here there is an opening, special type of muscles to control pyloric sphincter, and here another sphincters, esophageal sphincters. So what is made of these 2 sphincters? Both sides it closes. See, you are given a bottle of water and we are putting something into that, like sugar we are putting into that. We want to mix it, dissolve it, or mix it thoroughly. How to mix? You have to close the lid tightly, then you have to shake it. If you are not closing the lid, what will happen? it may spill out, isn't it? So, it's the same thing in the case of our stomach also. The food is coming to the stomach, has to be mixed with the HCl and pepsin. So it has to close first here. Pyloric sphincter will close. No exit. And here also it is closed. So then the churning movement of stomach will move, mix the food with the HCl and pepsin. So it is possible only once the both end is closed. Around 1 to 2 hours it will be there in the stomach, depending on the type of food. So once that part is over, which part? The digestion part in the stomach is over, then the sphincter, pyloric sphincter will open. The food goes to the duodenum, the first part of small intestine. Okay, understood the role of sphincters? Now, what is about the interesting thing about small intestine? Small intestine is not small. It is long, 5.5 to 6 meters long. For whom? Herbivores. Human being, it is up to 5.5 to 6 meters long. See the image, compare the small intestine of herbivore and carnivores. Herbivore having longer small intestine, carnivore having shorter small intestine. Why? Purely because of food habit. Food habit. Herbivore mainly eating the grass or carbohydrate rich food, cellulose, etc. While carnivore, the main food is flesh, meat, protein rich or protein and fat. So that is easy to digest. Which one? Protein and fat. While the carbohydrate is difficult to digest. That is why the herbivores having longer intestine than carnivores. Okay. Next, and from that, the small intestine, we told about the entry of food into the small intestine. So it is the acid chyme, the partially digested food in our stomach is called as chyme. It is entering into the duodenum, the first part of small intestine. Along with that, secretion from pancreas and as well as liver is also coming. Okay, into duodenum. So what is the peculiarity of that? Pancreas and liver. Liver has a role emulsification of fat into smaller globules. Then only enzyme lipase can access it. That is a very interesting thing. Lipase is an enzyme which will digest the fat molecules into glycerides, polyglyceride, monoglycerides, etc. And bile have no enzyme at all. So this is the secretion. Remember, bile has no enzyme at all. It will emulsify the fat. Emulsify means accessible. Accessible because lipase cannot directly touch with the fat. Cannot work directly. It has to be emulsified by the bile. Then it is digested by the enzyme lipase. So that is the role of bile. What pancreas does? Pancreatic role. Pancreatic juice containing numerous enzymes. Two of them are trypsin and lipase. Trypsin and lipase. What trypsin does? Trypsin break down the proteins and lipase break down fat. So two enzymes working on differently. So there are numerous enzymes, trypsin, chemotrypsin, like Lot of enzymes are there which is digesting proteins, and amylase like digesting sugars, nuclease digest the RNA and DNA, and even the lipase is also there. Along with bile, lipase can digest the fatty acids or dietary fat oils into monoglycerides, fatty acids, etc. So this is how the digestion process is continuing, and this much activity now happen in the upper part of small intestine duodenum. Continue with that. Intestine also have some enzymes. They also have some secretions. They produce some enzymes. We are not going to detail into that. Succus entericus, like that it calls in detail, break down all type of carbohydrates into glucose, all type of fat into fatty acid and glycerol, all type of proteins into amino acids. Now what is here? Digestion part is completed. Digestion part is completed. Now all type of carbohydrate, whether it is starch, whether it is lactose from milk, whether it is sucrose from the sugar, whether it is maltose, galactose. So whatever type of the sugar you are taken, which we can digest, converted into glucose or fructose like monomers. All type of oils and fat, whether it is animal fat or plant fat, when it is digested completely, converted into fatty acid and glycerol. All type of proteins, whether it is a meat protein, whether it is a milk protein, or it is egg protein, or the proteins from the pulses, this all will be digested, broken down into the smallest component, that is called as amino acids. So this is how the digestion part is completed in small intestine. Okay. Once the digestion is completed, what is next? Digestion over. Next is absorption. Okay, right. How do the absorption? Absorption happen in the small intestine with a special type of structures called as villi. So what are villi? Villi are the finger-like projections. Finger-like projections present in the small intestine. Okay, it look like this is a microscopic image, and this is the diagrammatic representation of villi. You can see that finger-like projections, which is rich with blood vessels and as well as lymphatic vessels. What it does, the finger-like structures, the small intestine is not like this, a pipe-like structures. It has a lot of projections towards inside. What it does, increase surface area for absorption of food. Surface area is more to absorb. When it is folded nature, food can go through like this way and touch more with the surface of absorption. So increasing surface area, more absorption, better absorption, role of villi in small intestine. Okay. Now once the absorption is also over, these nutrients are absorbed, then the material goes to the blood. So we have seen here in the villi having the blood vessels and that absorb all these nutrients. Then after that undigested part goes to the large intestine. So what is large intestine? Almost the end of our alimentary canal. So you can see the entry of large intestine over here from small intestine. Large intestine having, yes, ascending part, ascending colon. Here you can see here ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon. Then it goes to rectum here, then anus. So what this large intestine does with the food? Let us see. In the large intestine, the basic thing is absorption of water. The main work the large intestine does is absorption of water. When all the nutrients are absorbed from the small intestine, water is absorbed from the large intestine, then what is remaining? The undigested food, which cannot be digested, the waste material. That waste material ultimately stored in the rectum, and it is removed through anus. So you can see here the anal sphincters over here. Okay, anal sphincters will close and open the anus. So when the fecal matter is filled inside the rectum, when it is filled, then there is a message will goes to the brain. Once it is filled, then the voluntary muscles, when we are ready in toilet, the voluntary muscle will relax the anus or anal sphincters, so the defecation, removal of waste will takes place. Okay, so now what we will do is we will watch a small video related to the digestive system. Let us watch.
And with her new teeth, she can take on more solid foods. Digestion starts in the mouth. Teeth grind up the food. Then, special glands under the tongue pump out saliva.
See, saliva is coming
to help break down and lubricate the food on its 12-hour, 13-foot journey through the gut. It'll pass from the stomach into the coils of the small intestine before finally passing into the large intestine. Waves of contracting muscle keep the food moving, a process called peristalsis. These contractions are so powerful, we can even eat upside down. For the first time, a new camera shows a high-definition view of how food travels through our bodies and into our stomachs. Food enters the stomach through a hole at the top. The stomach is a bag of muscle that churns, squashes, and squeezes food into liquid. At the same time, acids break the food down. The stomach walls protect themselves with a lining of mucus. Without it, the acids could digest parts of the stomach itself, causing stomach ulcers. About an hour later, the stomach squeezes the broken down food out through a tiny hole called the pyloric sphincter. The food enters the small intestine, an 11-foot coil of tube where we absorb most of the nutrients. The interior wall of the small intestine is lined with millions of microscopic projections called villi. These increase the surface area of the gut, making it easier to absorb nutrients. First, the pancreas pumps out a juice that neutralizes stomach acid. Then bile from the liver breaks down the fats into tiny droplets. Smaller droplets are easier for the intestine to absorb. After an hour and a half, the small intestine has absorbed most of the nutrients from the food. It's time for what remains to move on. It enters the large intestine through this, the ileocecal sphincter, a valve that keeps our food from going back where it came from. What's left is a mix of waste food and dead cells from the walls of the gut. The large intestine's main job is to extract water from it. Lots of bacteria live here too, but it isn't because of an infection. We actually need them. They produce enzymes that break down complex carbohydrates in our food. Carbohydrates we couldn't otherwise digest. Finally, after about 12 hours, we expel what's left of our first meal.
So this is all about the digestion process. I think you understood that concepts. Please remember the organs and their functions. You can make a table manner and the enzymes and their role to digest the materials, the glands, etc. Thank you. End of the session. See you in the next session.